New at 10 tonight, we've learned that the suspect in this week's horrific murder-suicide was an online astrology influencer. Here's a look at her, who posted about the solar eclipse being the apocalypse. Fox 11's Gina Silva, she's live with developing new information on this case tonight. Gina?
Marla, this case has been so shocking from beginning to end, and now we're learning about a new disturbing layer to this tragedy.
A lot of our foundations as a society are toxic. They're ungrounded and they're unrealistic.
LAPD confirms Danielle Johnson, a.k.a. Danielle Ayoka, seen here on the Scotty and Sylvia show, was an astrology influencer on social media who was concerned about the eclipse.
Eclipses, there's more births, there's more deaths.
Leading up to the eclipse on Monday, Danielle, who went by the handle Mystic X Lipstick, made several alarming posts like these. Wake up, the apocalypse is here. And the eclipse is the epitome of spiritual warfare. She also reposted alerts that signaled this is the final warning. Something big is coming.
This type of story is probably one of the most tragic and horrifying stories that we'll ever hear about.
Like the rest of us, clinical psychologist Dr. David Swanson, who never treated Danielle, is trying to make sense of this horrific tragedy. Just hours before the eclipse was to take place over California, Danielle stabbed her boyfriend to death in Woodland Hills, pushed her kids out of a moving car on the 405 freeway in the Westchester area, which resulted in the death of her 8-month-old baby and the injury of her 9-year-old daughter.
That we'll ever hear about it.
Like the rest of us, clinical psychologist Dr. David Swanson, who never treated Danielle, is trying to make sense of this horrific tragedy. Just hours before the eclipse was to take place over California, Danielle stabbed her boyfriend to death in Woodland Hills, pushed her kids out of a moving car on the 405 freeway in the Westchester area, which resulted in the death of her 8-month-old baby and the injury of her 9-year-old daughter. Then Danielle died after crashing her Porsche into a tree in Redondo Beach.
Perhaps she thought that this eclipse meant that it was the end of the world. The apocalypse was here, especially because of some of the statements that she made.
There were plenty of similar posts and videos on social media predicting all kinds of disasters and the end of the world.
And when you're sitting on TikTok or you're on social media, and clearly she was an influencer, so you know she watched a lot of this stuff, it's very easy to get sucked into the fear that these videos start to create.
Could this have been postpartum depression?
I don't think it would have been totally postpartum depression, because we have a lot of women who deal with postpartum depression and it doesn't result in something like this. But certainly any type of mood disorder makes it much harder to cope with other things as they start to come up.
Looking at this tragedy in hindsight, Dr. Swanson says there were obvious signs. The happy and smiling Danielle had changed and was struggling with something dark.
She was warning people. She was saying, pick a side. The way that she typed about it was in all caps. It looked like she was very disturbed.
If you or someone you know is struggling with a mental health crisis, this is the number to call, 866-903-3787.
Of course she was struggling with something dark. The bitch was a fucking witch, man. But hey, I want to say shalom. I want to give all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKadosh. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, noise in this gospel broad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. Hey, what do we have here? Hey, brothers, man, this is why we tell you, man, be careful. We're dealing with these crazy ass bitches, man. Okay, what's her name? Yoko Danielle Johnson, astrologer. Okay, a spiritual person. I'm spiritual. I don't believe it, but I'm spiritual. I know, bitch, you's a fucking witch. And then, you know, you got Esau trying to justify the bitch. She clearly got mental issues, man. But this is why we tell you women out there, man. See, this is what happens when you're giving over to your own devices. Okay, and when you look at her in the spirit, you can tell she ain't fucking right in spirit, man. Okay, you know, making social media posts and how the hell you throw your kids out of a moving fucking car, you stab your boyfriend to death, and then you run your car into a goddamn tree and then put yourself to death, man. Okay, I thought spiritual people don't do that. as you women claim to be so divine. Oh, I'm so divine. I deal with the Christians. I'm spiritual. Yeah, only thing that's spiritual about you is the fucking wig on your goddamn head, man. And this is why we tell you brothers out there to be careful on who you deal with, man. Because I'm gonna tell you like this: 95% of the black women that I've come across in life are into this lifestyle, whether they tell you about it or not. Okay, if a woman tells you that, if you ask a woman what she believe in, or she tells you, well, I don't go to church, but I'm spiritual, that is a buzzword for saying I am a witch. Okay, that's a pretty way of saying I'm a witch without saying I'm a witch. And when you hear that, you need to run from them, man. Okay, unless you brothers really want to deal with the fucking madness. Because I ain't gonna lie, man, these hoes are freaks. I ain't gonna lie, you know, because Keisha, she just a deviant any damn way, you know. That's just who she is. But overall, man, and I know this for a fact, bro, like out here in Kansas City, they have groups of these women that's in a group, and what they would do, they will pretty much try to put spells on people, you know, and they're misguided because they feel, oh, well, this is going to bring my love back, and, you know, I'm going to put ketchup and blood in his grits and make him love me forever, and if he ever cheats on me, his dick won't get hard for him. You know, just a lot of crazy shit, man. You know, and then they casting spells, and then they'll pray over your shit and you know, wish all type of misfortune on you, which that shit don't work on the man and the Lord. But regardless of it, man, these women are wicked as hell. Okay, this is why the scriptures say that the woman is as death, man. Okay, and through her and through the woman we do find it. Sin coming to the world through the damn woman. She's wicked. Okay, because you can see in us, look at us, pay attention to our count.
Media, who was concerned about the eclipse.
Eclipses, there's more births, there's more deaths.
You know, now, for one thing, you're supposed to be a witch, right? A divine soul, right? Mother goddess, or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, you can't grow your own hair. So what's so divine about that? And I thought most witches are very modest, and they're really not out and open with their practice. Now, some of them you can look at them and tell, like, yeah, she must be into some type of astrology. But overall, for the most part, most witches, Edomite witches or real witches, they don't really display their profession, because being a witch is looked down upon in most Christian cultures. You know, but this culture has made it popular because you had what they call Sabrina the Teenage Witch, you had Bewitched. You know, you had a lot of shows out in the 90s that dealt with witchcraft. You had the movie called The Craft. You know, a lot of these TV shows deal with witchcraft, so they made it a cute thing. Okay, but these women, man, they ain't really on no fucking level. Okay, they may learn a couple of potions and gather some crystals up, and, you know, may play with the vagina blood and all that crazy shit. Overall, man, these women are doing this shit for clout. They think it's cute, especially the young ones, man. The young ones, them 16, 17-year-old ones that follow behind their sisters and their mothers. They all part of a group, a little coven. And the only thing they sit back and they talk shit and wish misfortune on Jake men. This is why a lot of you men are in bad predicaments, man. Okay, but nonetheless, and I want y'all to pay attention to something too, brothers, because what I'm realizing with this video, like, this is not the only case of something like this happening. Okay, as we know that our people are mentally sick, as it tells us in Isaiah, the 1st chapter, the whole head is sick. So they're shedding light on this story for a reason, because they attribute it to the eclipse, which a lot of women are into the moon, astrology, and all that shit. And they don't fully understand that. But they made mention of it, how a lot of end of the world prophecies have been declared around the solar eclipse. Now, since she took her own life, what they can do is try to tie that, they can tie that into the truth now, bro, because they have something which is called, it's basically new hate speech law. So when you have people that's committing suicide based on some type of prophecy or some type of black swan event or some major world changing event, and then they started to target things like this, then they can easily say, well, see, the Hebrew Israelites, they say things like that, and it's causing people to be kind of in a lackadaisical state, and they're causing people depression. You know what I'm saying? And this is what they did basically. I believe it was it Canada? I believe, like, when basically they outlawed the Bible in some regard, because basically, you know, they were saying how a lot of people, people was kind of bugged out about it, and, you know, just bad misfortune, right? So I feel like they're shedding light on this story as a way to try to target online speech as to what we're talking about. Because other than that, why would they put this motherfucker online? She doesn't deserve any spotlight. The bitch did a wicked act. She was a witch, and the Lord judged her for it. The Lord put a demon on her. That demon that was inside of her manifested, and then she did what she did. But she don't deserve any type of praises or anything like that. Because I'm reading the comments, And it's like a lot of people in this fucking comment board is saying, oh my God, this is such a tragedy. No, the bitch was what she wasn't right, man. Okay, period. You know, and mental illness is a demon. It's spirits. Okay, so let's see what the scripture say about witchcraft. This is Exodus 22, and I'm going to start at verses 18. It says, thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. Okay, so she was a witch. You're an astrologer. You're a stargazer. You are a witch. Okay, I don't give a damn how much you want to try to make it seem all cute. Oh, I'm spiritual. No, bitch, you's a witch. Okay, and that may be the title of the video. You know why? Because I'm actually in that spirit today. You know, just in that spirit. But, you know, we going to keep it PG to the best of our ability. But this is the result of it. You know, people are taking their lives because they imparted things they don't fully understand. Okay, so this is the book of Isaiah 47. And let's start at verses 9. It says, but these two things should come to thee in a moment and one day. The loss of children, even though this is talking about America. But basically, she threw our kids from a moving vehicle. Okay, and technically she did lose our kids because she's not here anymore. All right, the loss of children and widowhood. I mean, shit, she killed her boyfriend, so technically she was a widow, and they should come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries. Because like I said, these women, they are into some whether it be low level, high level, these women are into some crazy shit out here, man. Okay, when a woman, like I said, when she tells you she's spiritual, that's a cute way of saying, yeah, I'm a witch. But see, it's so stupid because when you say, no, you're a witch, and then they get mad at you for saying that because they know that witches, anything that's associated with witchcraft or dark magic or black arts or anything from the left-hand side, they know that that's equate with sinister, with evil behaviors. And in order for them to try to justify the shit that they're doing behind closed doors, oh, I'm spiritual, I'm not a witch. What the hell do you call it then, man? Okay, just because you ain't calling yourself a witch doesn't mean you ain't a witch. If you against the commandments of Yahweh by Shem and Hawashai, you a witch. If you calling on Jesus Christ, you a fucking witch. Okay, because the scriptures say that the rebellion is the sin of witchcraft, man. So if you are rebellious to the Heavenly Father, then you a witch. Okay, but she apparently was a practicing astrologer. You know, and a lot of these women do that for money, divine for money, and, you know, to try to make themselves look big. Because like I said, all these tarot card readings and all this stuff, look, man, that ain't the way to go. Okay, that's not the right way to go. But it says here, the loss of children and widowhood, and they should come upon thee in their perfection for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. Okay, now when you look up enchantments, right? It goes into where are we at? Habar, right? Habarah, which means a magician, a charmer, a spell. And like I said, they cast spells, they use crystals, you know, bathing in milk. Oh, well, I got to make sure that I put out my crystals on a full moon so it can get my energy so I can sink my baby daddy in child support court. You know, low-level dumb shit like that. You know, just low-level dumb shit, bro. It's just like, brothers, be careful. Okay, because I know, you know, brothers have dealt with women like this. And be honest with you, I won't be surprised if all the women brothers deal with is like this in some form of regard, because none of them really believe in the truth. Okay, and they claim to believe in a higher power. And if it ain't Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, then who the hell is it? Satan. Okay, because it's all Satanism. See, and it says here, to lead to, resulting, to bring on, cause, to be the cause, mean, amount to, add up to. Okay, for token, for bold. Let's look up charmer. Charmer. And it says here, a person with an attractive and engaging personality, you know, the ones all bubbly and shit, all friendly, typically one who uses this to impress or manipulate others. Okay, Esau is a charmer. Now let's look up magician here. And it reads a sorcerer. Okay, a sorceress, which is a witch, a wizard, a warlock, enchanter, enchantress, necromancer, spellcaster, druid, shaman, witch doctor, magus, alchemist. Okay, Like a lot of times those doctors and shit, like when they're conjuring up pharmaceuticals and chemistry and all that stuff, that's witchcraft, man. Like pharmakia is a Greek way of saying witchcraft, Salakia. Conjurer, illusionist, progestator, okay, genius, master, wizard. Okay, you get the point. But it reads here, and it says, therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt know from whence it rises, and mischief shall fall upon thee, that thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. And stand now with thy enchantments, and it says, and with thy multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, because a lot of times their parents are into this stuff too. Like a lot of Masons and Eastern Stars, a lot of times their kids grew up in those fraternities, and they have to go to meetings and stuff like that. But it says, but if so be thou shall able to profit, if so thou be mayest prevail. And she didn't prevail because she's in the spirit world. And the Lord is telling her, like, look, this is what you get because I didn't design you to be a witch. Okay. And it says, but thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that should come upon thee. And this is the point. Okay. See, this is why these women hate the Bible so much, because the Bible calls out their wickedness. You see, the Bible calls out the bullshit that these hoes do. Okay. Go back to the word habar, to divide, to be an astrologer. Okay. A horoscopist basically is a fucking witch, man. Okay. The Lord doesn't deal with astrology. Okay. It says here, a person who uses astrology to tell others about the character or to predict their future. Like, you ain't no prophetess, man. The Lord deals with prophets, not fucking astrologers. And prophets was not astrologers, man. Okay, we didn't deal with this stuff. Now, Issachar understood the signs in the heavens. They understood that because there is a righteous way to the zodiac, because in certain constellations, you can foretell particular events. Like same thing when Yahushua was born. Hey, the Herodians at that time, they already kind of knew because they had astrologers to study the heavens to know this is when Yahushua was going to be born. So what they do, they came and they suck out the Lord to put in the depth because they studied the constellations in the heavens. So there is divinity in it, but they use it in left hand practices. Okay. It says here, same thing, astrologer. Primitive root, duration of horoscopus. Okay, like a sorcerer, a sorceress. Yahweh Shema Shah is not dealing with that, man. All right. So
Leading up to the eclipse on Monday, Danielle, who went by the handle Mystic X Lipstick, made several alarming
Mystic X Lipstick. See, she was one of the women that wanted to trap men up. You know, she probably didn't like her child's father, you know, or whatever. She probably had something against him the whole time, and she probably was plotting to kill his nigga anyway. Because when you with a woman like this, bro, it's just a matter of time before they turn against you. You know, and the nigga was dumb enough to put a kid in her. You know, the box was probably good. She probably cooked and cleaned, you know, whatever. It says, but wake up, the apocalypse is here. Everyone who has an ear, listen. Your time to choose what you believe is now. If you believe a new world is possible for the people, RT now, whatever that means. There's power in choice. There's power in choice. Now, when you look at this seems like some, you know, you wanted at the end of the world type ordeal. So when they see posts like this and it causes people to bug out in a frenzy, they will target posts like this. Now, posts like this will automatically get flagged by the FBI, which will cause them to look into your life and investigate and say, look, you are inciting people to commit suicide, which it ain't our fault that these people are fucking weak because Esau's lies and deception. OK, we just telling the truth. If people dropping dead off truth speak, then so fucking be it. All right. You shouldn't have bought into the philosophies of this damn devil anyway. So that's on y'all. All right. Don't come to us with it, man. OK, because we going to speak the truth. This world is ending. OK, and ain't nothing y'all can do about it. Galatians 5. And I'm going to start at verses 19. It says, now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of the which I tell you before, as I've also told you in the times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh, man, of the Most High. All right. So she didn't go to inherit the kingdom because clearly she was of the 2/3, because, hey, I'm pretty sure she saw the Israelites. Most women like that, they come into the knowledge of witchcraft because they have a rebellion against the truth. Okay, most women that know they that claim to be spiritual, they've encountered Hebrew Israelites, and that's what's giving them a more of a how can I say it? I won't say a stoic stance because there's nothing stoic about what they believe in, but it's giving them a more, I won't say primitive. I can say it's giving them a more of a I won't say a hostile. I mean, it is hostile, but it's passive. I say a passive aggressive approach because, you know, a lot of them, they just come by the camp and roll their eyes, or, you know, they into that feminist bullshit. Well, you know, one bitch told me straightforward because I think we was at the camp and we was going into it. She was like, "Oh, you simple-minded because you don't know where you come from." I'm like, "What do you mean, bitch? How am I simple-minded? I'm not the one that's claiming some deity from West Africa." Because a lot of this shit goes back into the West African spirituality and Oshun, the beauty goddess, and all this other madness, man. I'm like, wait, how the hell we don't know where we come from? Well, that's in our ancestry, okay, but our ancestors wasn't necessarily righteous either. And when they say ancestors, they talking about niggas that came over here from Africa, man, that believed in hoodoo and voodoo and Santa Maria. Bro, that was wickedness, man. That shit ain't in our blood. Okay, just because we had a couple of grandmothers and aunties that play with Ouija boards and tarot cards and all that crazy shit, that doesn't mean that that's supposed to be in our spirit. That's the first thing a bitch will tell you. Well, our ancestors did it, yeah, and you see why we got brought over here in captivity in the first goddamn place. So if you so goddamn divine, then divine your ass out of slavery from under Esau's hand. Do that. Okay, you damn demons. So this is Galatians 5, and matter of fact, let's look it up again. Galatians 5 and damn, what the hell is it? Yeah, here it is, 5 and 19. Now I wanted 5 and 20. Now let's look up witchcraft, right? In the Greek, and it should be pharmakia, right? Yep, pharmakia, which goes into the using of administering of drugs. The doctors. The pharmacists. Witches. They're basically witches. Okay, even a street dealer is a goddamn witch, a drug dealer. And this is why a lot of times they have a horrible fate. Okay, most drug dealers I know end up in jail for life or they end up dead. Okay, there's only 1-2 options unless you just been one of the fortunate ones to get out of that shit. But it haven't been very many that got out of that life, okay? And I'm telling you that because through experience, because I've known people very close to me that didn't make it out of that life, unfortunately, you know? And I would say unfortunate because they were close. But I guess, you know, it was unfortunate for them. But regardless, you know, the Lord does what he does. But it says the use of administering drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it deceptions or seductions of idolatry. And these women, they can seduce you. You know, you come over, she got the candles lit, you know, she got the chocolate. If you brothers dealing with women like this, don't eat their food. All right, seriously, like I've only let maybe not even a handful of women cook for me in my life, bro. And like when I was dealing with my last woman, man, I mean, you know, I was dealing with her for a long time, so it just got to the point. I'm like, you know, she's just here to stay. She ain't no getting rid of this nigga. But regardless of it, when she used to cook, you can ask her. I'll be in that kitchen watching her ass for the most part. I'm telling her what to put in there, X, Y, and Z, because even though I was with her ass, I ain't trust that nigga either. You know, because she's a fucking woman that was born in Babylon, man. You know, you find some fucking hair in your goddamn chicken noodle soup, and you be bugging out, man. You know, come in the crib, you got a big ass black fly, man. Like, bro, I won't be surprised if a couple of women try to put some witchcraft on me, man. You know, like I came down with that fucking stomach shit last year. That shit was out the blue. You know, find out it was just like some digestive shit. But like, I ain't never suffered from no digestive issues before. Then I come home, there was a fucking black fly in my house, and the nigga was outside. He ended up in the house. I'm like, nah, this ain't right. Somebody's doing something, man, you know? So I was talking to my mom. She said, you sure ain't nobody trying to put a hex on you? I'm like, well, shit, if they are, I'm like, they ain't going to succeed because, you know, I believe in how about Shimi Hawashai. She said, well, hey, you know, it is what it is. But I said, yeah. But me personally, you know, it could have been that. But then again, you know, that's just my spiritual mind thinking. But it was just, you know, being in this kingdom, stress and the food, it'll do it to you over a course of time. And, you know, when I was younger, I started drinking and shit. And I was like my late teens, you know, but I didn't really get into drinking, turn the bottle up to like my early 20s and shit, you know. And it catches up with you, believe it or not. But anyway, it says deceptions or seductions, idolatry, going back to the seducing part. Okay, yeah, you come in, she got you bath ready, but you see crystals in our house. You're like, well, baby, what's up with all these crystals? I'm spiritual. Okay, well, I'm gonna spiritual my ass away from you. All right, so in reality of it is, brothers, be careful dealing with crazy women like this, man, because Keisha, she's not right, bro. Okay, the black woman is not right. She's sick in the mind, and clearly we're seeing it. And there's going to be a lot of more of this that happened because we told you after the eclipse, things were going to start to happen. All right, so this is the book of Deuteronomy 18, and I'm going to start at verses. It says, spiritism forbidden, and this is why these women hate the Bible, because, Deuteronomy the 18th chapter clearly tells us about that spiritual shit. I'm spiritual, but the subheading is spiritism forbidden, okay? Meaning that it's exile, is done, it's no. Okay, and you see why, Saul, he banished the witches out of the land of Israel, man, okay? Because this was against Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. So it says, when thou art coming to the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after those abominations of nations. And when you break the scripture down to these women, they say, you simple. You don't know what you talking about. That's written by a white man. No, bitch. Your fucking witchcraft is studied by Esau. Even though they get it from them ancient Hamites. Esau's the biggest witch in America, man, outside of you black women. Okay, Keisha and Esau's a bump. What the hell you think he in the garden, bro? When he basically he seduced her ass into believing that she basically bit into that apple, man. That spirituality shit. And it was a different philosophy. Anything outside this truth is witchcraft. Christianity, witchcraft. Islam, witchcraft. Judaism, witchcraft times 10. Okay, because they prescribe to the Babylonian Talmud. But it says, there shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an absorber of time, or an enchanter, or a witch. Okay, she was a witch, period. Just because she said she was an astrologer, no, she's a fucking witch. See, she put her man to death, tried to kill her kids, and then she plunged herself head first into a goddamn tree. And it is what it is. And it says, there shall not be found any among you, or anyone that maketh a son or daughter pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or is over times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits. Okay, they go to the graveyard, they do that praise dance and shit, like that whole Holy Ghost shit in the church, in the black church. That come from left hand spirits, man. Okay, you ain't never seen the disciples like that speaking and that ain't speaking in tongues. That's folly, man. Speaking in tongues just goes into different languages. That's all it means. That ain't no language. That's ghost talk, man. Ooging and booging and flipping and foaming at the mouth, man. What the hell, man? Get the hell out of here, man. That's a damn demon. Or a charmer, or a consultant with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or a necromancer. For all they that do these things are an abomination unto Yahweh. And because these abominations, Yahweh thy power doth drive them out before thee. But thou should be perfect with the Lord thy power, man, okay? So we ain't supposed to be partaking in this type of this madness, man. This is not for us, okay? The Lord warned us against it, This is the book of Micah 5, and I'm going to start at verses 12. It says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thy hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. And the graven images I will also cut off, because, those fucking crystals they wear. Like, we wear stones and stuff like that, but we ain't worshiping the stones, man. This is just a oily raiment of the priesthood, because the priests, we wore stones. We had Demetrius, but they also do that on the left-hand side, too, because there is healing properties in those crystals if you understand the healing of it. Me personally, I just wear it because the shit look dope, but I haven't really been wearing it as much, but it looks nice. But, I'm sure that, with research, you can find out what type of healing properties they have. But, we full of the Holy Spirit, so we ain't got to wear that shit. I don't feel no different when I don't have it on, Because honestly speaking, to me, it's the Spirit of the Lord that dwells in us, man. Not no goddamn crystal. But there are healing properties to it. And it says here, and I will cut off the cities of thy land. Matter of fact, it says, and I will cut off witchcrafts out of thy hand, and thou shalt have no more soothsayers. Thy graven images I will also cut off, and thy standing images out of the midst of thee, and thou shalt no more worship the work of thy hands, man. And I will pluck up the groves out of thy midst of thee, and I will destroy thy cities, and I will execute vengeance and anger and fury upon the heathen, such as they have not heard, okay? And, this woman was nothing but a damn heathen at the end of the day. Anybody that's into that spirituality, witchcraft bullshit, may the Most High destroy you, man. And with that, call Allah Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will you will edify it to the next lesson. Shalom.
Posts like these. Wake up, wake up. The apocalypse is here. And the eclipse is the epitome of spiritual warfare. She also reposted alerts that signaled this is the final warning. Something big is coming.
This type of story is probably one of the most tragic and horrifying stories that we'll ever hear about.
Like the rest of us, clinical psychologist Dr. David Swanson, who never treated Danielle, is trying to make sense of this horrific tragedy. Just hours before the eclipse was to take place over California, Danielle stabbed her boyfriend to death in Woodland Hills, pushed her kids out of a moving car on the 405 freeway in the Westchester area, which resulted in the death of her 8-month-old baby and the injury of her 9-year-old daughter. Then Danielle died after crashing her Porsche into a tree in Redondo Beach.
Perhaps she thought that this eclipse meant that it was the end of the world. The apocalypse was here, especially because of some of the statements that she made.
There were plenty of similar posts and videos on social media predicting all kinds of disasters and the end of the world.
And when you're sitting on TikTok or you're on social media, and clearly she was an influencer, so you know she watched a lot of this stuff, it's very easy to get sucked into the fear that these videos start to create.
Could this have been postpartum depression?
I don't think it would have been totally postpartum depression because we have a lot of women who deal with postpartum depression and it doesn't result in something like this. But certainly any type of mood disorder makes it much harder to cope with other things as they start to come up.
Looking at this tragedy in hindsight, Dr. Swanson says there were obvious signs. The happy and smiling Danielle had changed and was struggling with something dark.
She was warning people. She was saying, pick a side. The way that she typed about it was in all caps. It looked like she was very disturbed.
If you or someone you know is struggling